All right, so I got the fuel lines out. Put them down in the garage. I still want to scratch up the other side, so that's why I got old rags and stuff there. I just wanted to get everything out of it. I didn't want it to sit in open air because that'll crust up with the 85 stuff, so I wanted to make sure I get all the fuel out of it. And hopefully this doesn't sit long anyways. Like, the goal is to try and get this done ASAP. The hubs just got done. Hopefully I'll show those in the video too, but my buddy BB took care of those. He said he just got them done, so I can get everything down to powder coat now. We are ready for the powder coat part. So now after that's where we start to reassemble again. So I got some crunch time here because I need to get the underside of this still done. We got all the crap out, but I got to start taping off. I got to start cleaning and taping everything off then. I got to pull these through too, so I got to get the car down, but I got too much weight in the front, so that adds an issue. Same with this, I got to push this up through, which isn't the end of the world for that. And then I'll tape those holes off and start scrubbing, and then plug all the holes too, and then spray this all black again. All right, I'll shut up. Let's get to it. So I'm working on the car here. Just a bolt. You guys know the deal. Thank you guys. I can't ever say enough good things. Again, this channel doesn't exist without sponsorship, and it does not exist without the help of companies like this. So thank you guys very much. And one thing I want to talk about with these bolts, someone's going to say, like, it seems a bit absurd because these bolts are all, and I'm still missing some here, going underneath the car. One thing you need to realize is the fact that I was going to buy all new bolts, okay? Which I still am. I'm still buying OEM bolts for a lot of the structural stuff. There's things I will and I will not buy that's structural for the car, just because titanium is a very hard but brittle material. We can go into the whole thing, but I'm not going that now. The one thing that I noticed was when I had it all up, did it with OEM first, then did it versus dress-up bolts, this was barely, just barely, cheaper than OEM for titanium bolts. Bro, that's insane. That is absolutely insane. Now, again, I'm not getting everything, but for what I was going to replace it with, it was literally cheaper to buy titanium stuff. That just seems like off my rocker insanity. So, pumped about this. Thank you, Dress Up Bolts. Again, this is going to cover just about everything, and I'll go over the sizes when we start putting it on. At this time, obviously, we can't, because everything is ready to go to powder coating. I'm driving over there tomorrow to go do so. The only thing I've got to do yet is drill out the backside of these hubs. I marked them there with a yellow marker. What you got to do is get a spot weld drill. I've never used one before, but I ordered one off Amazon. I only got to do these few, so hopefully it goes well. Because I want to keep this backing plate, which is for the rear disc, or not for the disc, I should say, but for the actual e-brake pads. And this actually ties into it too. So this ties in for it right there. It ties into the spring. So yeah, I just don't want all this jankiness there. If I can drill the spot welds up, clean it up with a brush and stuff, and then powder coat that, that would be ideal. All right, guys, another thing I'm doing here is these dust shields. So they need to be drilled out, but it's not using any drill. You use this style drill, which is a spot weld drill. So what you're doing is drilling out the spot welds that's on the backing plate here to get that shield off, especially if you have bigger brakes. My car was an NA car, so you can get TT brakes. The shield for an NA car is not the same as a TT car. The backing plates are different. In my case, I have big brakes, so I would have to cut it down no matter what. So you drill out the spot welds, and I did go the one there. You see it went a little too far. You see it just barely went through there, so I might have to get that welded, but honestly, I just don't care. I just want to be able to keep this, and it'll get powder coated, so you'll never really see it per se, but it's one of those things like, better safe than sorry. So now I've got to do this one here again. You can see it there. There's only a couple spots, so every place you see the little yellow, there's a paint marker I use just to drill those holes out. And I know now not to go too crazy. And then I use a flat screwdriver to like just kind of wiggle it and pop up on it. So don't use the drill to get the whole way through the last little bit. Use your screwdriver and just let it pop it up. If you got to grind something down, just take a little flap disc and just grind that smooth. And that's what it looks like when it's done. You can see there, I got a little tit still there. But these ones I didn't drill the whole way through. But yeah, it gets rid of the spot welds, keeps your backing plates in, and gets rid of those ugly dust shields. Again, this isn't perfect, but I still think this is better than what a lot of people usually do. So I'm happy. So I'll grind these down, get a little smooth here because I don't want to go too crazy. Just give it a little love taps there. And this one here is the one I'm going to just have to live with. Again, at the end of the day, it's not a sealed unit. So it's going to be powder coated. You'll barely see it anyway. So meh. So my buddy Sean's here. Say hi, Sean.
Hey, how are you?
We're idiots. And Sean, how cold is it outside? Let's show the people. See that white stuff outside? Can the camera please focus for the love of God? Can this thing actually be useful for once? See that white stuff? That's called snow. And even when it's snowing outside, the inside of my garage is like 48 degrees right now. And we decided, hey, let's use cold water and scrape the underneath of this thing. So yeah, that's happening right now, but it is working phenomenally. So see that versus that? These are awesome. Amazon, $10 for like, I think it was like a 12 pack. At least the red ones are like the stiffer brushes. Again, since I'll probably use something softer if I wasn't keeping all this, but yeah, for something like this, go ham. Just go at it. Make sure you plug off bolt holes if you can. Stuff that you can't get to, that's gonna drip down. How about it, Sean?
Yeah.
Make sure you have a hoodie on. Just go at it. As you can see, the floor looks like crap already, but look. Oh, is it nasty? Oh. So you can see just this side versus this side. I'm trying not to get on here too much because it's still drip, but look how nice the paint is actually underneath of all this. Now that's scraped up for some reason, but this just all this needs really clean. So thanks to the help of Sean, this is going actually a lot quicker. Like all that's scrubbed off. Again, we're gonna paint all this though. We're gonna hit everything, but I need to get it all scrubbed first before we can do so. Like that area there needs hit too. All of this needs scrubbed, so it's gonna take a minute. What else do we got? So down and through all here needs done. And again, once we get underneath is where I get careful because I don't want to get anything up into the engine. Okay, so it's pretty good. So we clean up the floor here like that. Like it was like tar and I was soaking wet from doing this. Wasn't the best idea I've ever had, but you see it's a lot cleaner. It's gonna be some people are like, oh, that looks brown, Ryan. It's not dirt. I've got this light here. Let's swing this around if I can. Swing around. So that brown is not dirt, it's a factory like white coating they had there and it's obviously been stained over time, but there is still dirt up here. So like see those areas, that's dirt. But I wanted it to dry because we're cleaning and like not a lot's coming off. We're like, all right, I guess we're getting down to the part now where we have to find the areas. So stuff like this here, I've noticed I thought this was like a coating, but this is dirt here. Dirt, some of this is dirt, some of this is a coating. This is all dirt here, but I had this too close and I was trying to be careful. So up in these corners, this is where it's time. I got to get a power brush. I can't do it by hand. It needs to be like, I have to use my drill and really get into these corners. Because again, I want all this debris off if I'm going to spray it. So my buddy Sean and I are going to get back at it tomorrow. It is freezing cold up here right now, by the way. So like here in these corners here, there, up in there. So that's the stuff I didn't, like, wait, look at that. Wow, how did we miss that? What a bunch of idiots. Holy cow, that is legit all dirt. Dang, yeah, that's chunky, boy. Like you can see there where I wiped my finger. Again, I was scared because of the hole I didn't want to get. The wheel wells are really good. I've gotten this really well too. That was way worse. But again, we'll go over it again. It will be a lot nicer this time just for the fact that it won't be as bad. It's like 75% there. I even scrubbed this hard and look how brown this looks. I'm like, man, I must not have gotten it good enough or maybe I didn't spray it off well enough. So we'll go at it again tomorrow. I ordered a bunch more of LA's Awesome. It's the stuff you get from the dollar store. So yeah, you can see part of my old Pure Function shirt, the OG 2016 shirt there. I stuffed it in the hole so water to come through. And again, like I said, all the bolts are in there to try and keep water out of the holes and remind me, hey, I got to tape those off when this is all done. That area there is really going to have to be scrubbed by hand because of the e-brake. Sorry for my voice keeps crackling too. Like there too. Got to get that. That is overspray from when I cut the quarters, and that's pour 15. There's some debris there. You can see that's legit dirt residue. Want to get that. And look how much the tire ate away. When I have my old Stancy Boy style setup, look how much it literally ate away at that. Look, the screw is there. It's literally riding. Look, it's not doing shit. This is my car, so someone's like, well, you ruined the value. Well, they don't plan on selling it. Maybe that car one day, but this one's my baby. My baby. I love you. So yeah, I do like to take the coils out too because I want to paint everything up even under the coil. So I just have to get up on the ladder because it has too much weight in the front. Now it'll go like that, and that won't be a good time. So yeah, just wanted to show you guys that. We'll do one more update though, show when we're finally done. Again, we'll have to scrub these two, but again, we got the big chunks off at least. All right, another thing I'm working on here, guys, taking the brake shoes apart. This piece and this piece here you'll need to keep, but you can order all these parts here, all this stuff off like Rock Auto or even from Toyota if you want. But they sell like entire kits. This stuff is not the end of the like end all be all of the world. But it's time to buy new because if you can see here, this stuff wasn't very well coated from the factory, so it's getting ate away. So you don't want to put that back in. I think for both sides, it comes as like a kit. I think it's like $17. You can get Advanced Auto, AutoZone. Again, not the end of the world. Same thing with the brake shoes. You can get that from like a Rock Auto, Advanced Auto. Stuff like that, and all that stuff comes with it. So like all this comes with it, all the springs, everything. Just doesn't come with the bolts, which is not a big deal. What it doesn't come with, from what I saw, is this piece here and this here. So you want to salvage that. I went ahead and took this one apart so I can show you guys this one. So it's this arm right here. And one thing I want to show you before I even take this apart is when you take that off, you'll notice it has a little brass washer that goes right here, make sure you reinstall that when you put it back on or put a new one on it, because that keeps it from binding up, okay? So just remember that. So if I flip this over, does the other side even have anything? No, it doesn't look like it did. But yeah, this side just has a brass washer on it. So when I take this one off, which is, you tell it's all original. Look how, I mean, this stuff was disgusting. Like it got corroded. And this is why you want to keep that backing plate. The backing plate that I'm talking about is the one I had to drill out. You want to keep that to keep dirt, debris, and water out as much as you can. Again, it's not going to keep it all up, but it's going to help some versus it just being open to everything. Plus, you don't want to get a rock in here and it gets stuck in between this and your rotor. So it's to help keep all that crap out. So trying to clean this up, this really needs blasted. It should have been powder coated or Cerakote or something. Again, I'm not trying to go that crazy because once this is inside, you can't see any of this. This is all like put together, but it's time. It's 190,000 miles. I just don't want this to fail. The springs are old. I don't want them to lock up and not release properly. I think that's part of the problem. You can also get e-brake cables still, which I didn't realize. You can actually get them for a pretty decent price. So this is all stuff you guys can buy. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pop this off. You just have like this little horseshoe. You just want to bend it out. So you take it and take like a flathead and pry it apart and slide it out. And again, you'll see just a little shim just like this, or a brass washer that goes underneath it. That's it. So if you guys see here, I pried this off. You have to like pull it apart, and then this should slide up. Try to hard to do this with my hand, but you can see the little washer there. See it? There's a little washer. So just pull this off. The brake shoes, all that stuff goes away, but you need to save these. I'm not sure if you can buy those new. I don't think it's the end of the world. So yeah, I'm just going to reuse them, clean them up. I tried cleaning these, but it's not coming apart even with brake cleaner. So these things are really stained. It gets etched from brake dust, but all the springs, all this other stuff will be nude. So yeah, now that's done. One great thing about Rock Auto, you get your stuff quick. So ordered a whole new kit, and it does come with everything. So everything, even new adjusters, every new spring, every little thing, even down to these new clips and washers. Installing these, it does come with new washers and everything. So the only thing you got to do is put these back on that I did reuse. I'm not sure if you can buy these new. I don't think this is going to be the end of the world. This is what holds your e-brake. I tested this because I was like, man, this feels loose. Put it back in the old ones, and it was loose like this also. So at least I know that's normal. It comes with a little horseshoe thing, so put your washer on. So put that back on like so. And you can only go, these all go on one way. These can only go on one way. Trying to do, again, per usual, trying to work as fast as I can. What else is new? So push that on like so. Right like that there. And then you just take a pair of needle noses. See if I can try and do this one-handed. I just don't want it to fall out on me. See if I can get it on camera. Just clamp it like so. And then you're done. And that's it. That's all it takes. And both of these are done now. And yeah, the rest I just got to wait till I reassemble everything. But if you want the part numbers for that, so I got a center kit with new shoes, or premium brake shoes. I guess, yeah, I haven't called them brake shoes, but these are for your e-brake. So I forget how much it was. It was like 20 bucks, cheap. That was like the most expensive ones they had on there. Then Ray Vestas had on there a new spring kit, which comes with everything. Again, just a lot of the stuff was all rusted out. Like these little things here, if you can see it here, all these parts were like really rusty. They had seen way better days, especially the stuff in here. Like it is rusty as rusty gets. It was gone. So I'm going to hold on to that stuff to the very end just to be sure. But I'll put this stuff back in a baggie, get it ready so we have the passenger or driver side, and then get it all back on the car. But the Ray Vestas stuff here, the part number for that is this here. So it gives you all that springs and clips to put it all together. We've got so many other parts. All my stuff is back from Powder there, which we'll get into. But I also decided, time for a double din. I upgraded to a Pioneer unit. I am a Sony guy. So there it is. Where's the part number at? Right there. Okay. I am a Sony guy. I've always used Sony head units. I got talked into this by Crutchfield, aka the best customer service in the business. I was looking at a $550 Sony unit. I prefer traditional buttons. This actually has not haptic, whatever it is. So it's like an iPhone where it's based off like your finger, so you could swipe to everything. You don't have to like press on it per se. There's no physical buttons, and the buttons too for plus and minus for the radio or on the driver's side of it. So up and down, which I did like that. This has everything. It's Apple CarPlay wireless wired, Android Auto wireless wired. So whoever's with you, if you don't have the cord, they can just flip it up on their phone and get it to work. So it's time. I also did their Ready harness, which bypasses everything. You charge 20 bucks to already wired in. Again, not the end of the world. I could do this myself, but for 20 bucks, the headache and time, yeah. Everything's labeled too. Haven't had a radio that had a remote in years. This does everything. This has a backup camera. It also has a microphone. Not a huge fan. They always said they don't do many that are, the microphones are built in for vibration, blah, blah, blah. I don't really like seeing these things, so I'm not sure if I'm going to use this or run it, or if I'm just going to put it somewhere down below and pull it out maybe, but I know I'm probably going to update this into the auto car also, just for the fact that for $370 is all this is. I was like, it's a no-brainer. So I'd like to have that because when she drives it, it's hands-free. I can also set it up since she has a Lexus steering wheel. They have all the controls that I can use the steering wheel in that to control this. So she can mute, she can answer a phone call, everything, which would be nice. And it'll get her driving that, taking the girls places and going, going here and there. Another thing, huge. All these new parts here, these are OEM nuts, bolts, everything. If it wasn't titanium from dress-up bolts, then if it's structural or it's something I'm like, I didn't feel comfortable using a titanium bolt because it's very hard but brittle metal, I went with new OEM. Now, why did I go new EM versus, zinc coating? I found out like some of these places, the good ones that truly strip it, make everything look great, are about $75 a pound, okay? I bought all new bolts, everything here, all new everything. I mean, some of these are just in itself, just this couple here is probably a pound, okay? I bought all new everything down to the eccentric shafts, everything for alignment, even these weird ones. All right, I paid all of this was around $370 shipped, which I should have done someone local because I could have got it for $300. And yes, as I install, I'm going to do my very best to make sure you guys can see everything and what the part numbers are, especially for like doing the suspension, the alignment bolts. I want to make sure that I remember to get every single part number. The one part's going to be hard because a lot of these where I would look it up like, okay, it needs XYZ washer. These washers are used in a bunch of different places, so I need to make sure. I'm going to try and print out a spreadsheet so I know exactly what it was for because I actually made notes for it because, again, AK Ryan being anal retentive, I went above and beyond. Like even down to new nuts, everything, even these little plastic pieces that go in to all the powder coat stuff, which I'll show you here in a minute. So I wanted to have everything new just because I didn't want to chance it, and the fact that zinc is so much, I didn't want to put old bolts in. Some of them were really bad. What's weird is some of this stuff is like the silver color, then it's like a bright silver zinc, and then some of it, like what's really weird is the lower part, I believe, is for the eccentric shafts and stuff, were like a yellow bright zinc, yes. And then the uppers somewhere here are black. I was like, why would they do that? But I guess it must be two different manufacturers that Toyota uses. So weird stuff like that happens. But let's go look at all the powder stuff. All right, let's just take this all in for a minute. I mean, just look at it. So you can see a lot of it is gloss, and I had 2 items done in a satin color. Realistically, I only wanted that, but I forgot. I did actually want that, but I didn't, I was like, I already told him just to do the one. It's like Robbie and I, or Rob, had like the same like mindset. And he's like, hey, I kind of figured you wanted that done too. And I'm like, I did, but I didn't want to bug you if you already did it, because I know how he is. He would have stripped it and redid it for me and just not tell me, because that's just, he is that kind of person. There's only one area I messed up on all of this, which I'll show you guys here. It's not the end of the world. I can fix it. It's just like dumb. It's one area I forgot to tell him to tape off. So I had some stuff that wasn't OEM or didn't need done, but I went ahead, some of the Granite stuff, so the 8.8 stuff, I had repowder coated, and for the T56 Magnum, just wanted it gloss. These are the rear brackets for the bushings, and yes, I did have them powder coat inside, because from the factory there is paint, and when you're going to put in the new stuff, it's just, you're using grease and you're using a very soft rubber bushing. You don't put in the metal sleeve part until after you're done, so it's very manipulative, or you can manipulate it to get it in. This is a shield to protect the gas tank along with that. Again, just wanted this all coated. These backing plates is where I messed up on both of them. All of it's good. I'm glad we didn't paint inside of here, but this here, because I didn't take these apart, I didn't realize that there slides in here, which again, we didn't coat in there, which is good, but I didn't realize that slid in there. So I screwed up. What I'm going to have to do is grind that all off. I'm going to have to tape around it and grind it off. Again, not the end of the world. Someone else will be like, Ryan, it's not that big deal. Just leave it, but I can't do that. So what we're going to do here is grind that off, and then it'll be fine. These bolts go from the other side to hold this all in. So this bolt goes in here like so. Now, I know this seems weird, but I had him powder coat these. I don't know if we'll be able to use this because I don't know how I'm going to get a wrench in here. These threads I'm going to have to clean up and try and put some coating on it so it doesn't rust, because then they'll seize up. But I did want this black. Now, I bought new ones anyways, just in case this didn't work. But if it does, great, which is awesome. What else we got here? Tank straps. So you can buy these new. I just cleaned up the rubber pieces, and I'm like, powder coat is better than that crappy paint, so I just had these powdered. These are the brackets for the sway bar here. This is a Titan Motorsports sway bar. It was silver before, so I wanted to go ahead and get it black like I did the front. It was chipped up. It just didn't look the greatest. I had banged it around, not the best. And I get these done even though they're stainless steel. Again, when something's powder coated, it can be wiped down. It doesn't need to be polished or taken care of. The under brackets, I'm not sure what you call these, but had those done. Miscellaneous brackets for like the ABS. This is for these clamps that go here. This holds in the I think the bushing. What else we got? Some more stuff for the ABS, and I think that's it. Next are the hubs, which is the real reason we started all this. And you can see he had to tape off like crazy. Now I said the faces I did not care about. I said go at it, don't care, just don't spray inside. And he did a great job of that. Very, very impressed, per usual. I mean, I'm very, very happy. Someone could say like there's this, that, or the other. There's always something that someone can nitpick about. I don't care what you say. This is way above and beyond than anyone needs to do as it is. So I'm beyond happy as it is right now. Again, I'll have to grind this off here. I just have to tape around it and just and go to town. Yeah, tank cover again. This satin looks phenomenal. The downside of satin is when you put your fingertips and stuff all over it and you wipe it down a billion times, it starts to look weird. But what for an under the car, it's actually ideal. And most people don't understand why I do everything gloss is because it doesn't hold dirt and grime, right? It's wipeable, it's smooth. You can spray it off a lot easier. Something that has a rougher surface. I'm not saying this is rough. It's just easier to clean off. Now, we'll show dirt more, but it's easier to get dirt, rust, everything like that just goes off a lot easier. The reason I wanted the tank done in a satin color, when you're going to the back of the cars, it sits low. You can't really see it on her car at this moment, just how far back we are, but the tank sits low, or the tank cover. And when you come up behind it at night, it'd be like shiny, and I feel like that would drive me insane. So I wanted a satin color, kind of like factory would have it. I just think that's the best way. Again, that came from Tony's 98 Supra because mine was a little beat up, and this is just a lot better to start with. So happy about that. Now the real big one, this here. So we did tank this. So let me get into it here. This was fully tanked because there's just no good way of sandblasting all this. To get every little bit, I said, screw it, let's just tank it. A lot of it, besides this rail here, up through there and there, the backside is just sheet metal that is hollow, okay? And even on top of it, there's a ton of these holes, okay? Here, 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 here. And what he did was he took his powder coat gun and literally shoved it inside, like actually like needled it almost, and just kind of got as much in as you can. Now I'm going to use cavity wax like you would use on a frame rail when you weld it up, just because I'm going to have to, because when I did this welding, any of the factory paint that was on the inside is already gone. That burned it all off when we did all that welding. So it's going to have to be done. I feel like this should be okay. Again, cavity wax is pretty impressive for what it is. Every automotive shop uses it, so it should work. Every little bit we powdered. Again, inside of here we did. When your solid bushings go in, there's paint on this from the factory. If it's too tight, we'll smack them in. They'll fit. I had them powder up the whole way, just like factory hat, and it stopped here. So yeah, and then when this is all done, these holes here, like I said, I have the caps I bought brand new from Toyota to cap all that off to keep water and moisture from going inside of it from the best way possible. It's not going to be 100% sealed. There's gaps and areas in it as it is, so it's not going to be 100%, but I think it's going to work out very well. So what I can do is the uppers for the car. So the uppers need to be put on before I install this in the car, just because it's way easier that way, which again, I can show all the bolts and part numbers you're going to need. Again, we're going to be using the P2M arms. All right, so I want to show the nuts and bolts that you guys are going to need to install these arms. P2 arms need to be facing this way, so you guys know that is the back where the mounts go. So you can see how this swoops out, needs to go towards the back. It doesn't matter which side, you can flip them upside down, doesn't matter. But that needs to go toward the back. The straighter arm needs to go towards the front of the chassis. Now you need a total of 4 of these bolts, which is these guys here. I'm going to leave one out so you can see it. You need a total of 4 of these, which is this part number right here. All right. When you put those in, they need to be going on the inside of it, okay? So both bolts need to go on the inside of it. Then for the front ones, you'll need these here. So you'll need 1 of these. You'll need 1 or 2 of these washers, okay? Which is this part number here. 2 of these. Then you will need 2 of these serrated style, I guess, nuts or whatever. You'll need 2 of these serrated nuts, which is this part number here. Then you'll need the locking serrated washer nut thingy-majiggy, which you'll need 2 of those. That part number there. Again, you'll need 2 of these, 2 of those. Everything's pretty much 2 here. And then you'll need 2 of these for that to lock it in when it's done. Okay, and that's that. So I can actually show you installing it. Then we'll have to do the back side here too. So I think it's another washer and a different style nut. So I'll show you the part numbers for that. Now, like I said, we have the nut and washer and everything goes there. Then for the back side, you'll need 2 of these. So you need a washer and a nut. So you'll need this here. You'll need 2 of these, which these get used in a lot of places. So that's why there's a bunch here. You'll need that part number there, 2 of those. And then 2 of these styled nuts, which is this part number here, which again gets used in a lot of places. So that's why I have a multitude of those. So yeah, now I'm just gonna crank them down. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'll show you installing these, then these lock in and you get this little locking tab then. So sweet, I'm excited to see how this thing feels and drives once it's all back together. The mistake I did make was for the hubs, well, not the hubs itself here, but what I did make a mistake with is I didn't take these apart. So when I got pressed out, I didn't realize the outside of this slid into this here. Did not know that. So I had them powder around it. So I'm grinding it off right now. And now it should slide in there. Well, it went the whole way down there a second ago, but yeah, so it slides in there. That's what holds the e-brake cables or the e-brake springs and stuff in. And then I'll put the bolts in here. So this will all be put back together, and then they can press the bearings and stuff in. So you got to put all this back on first before you can press all those bearings in. So yeah, like we're very close. We're very, very, very close. I'm pumped. I can't wait to get these up to BB now and get everything pressed in. Perspective here, you can see how I powdered all that versus, let's just flip this one over here real quick. So you can see I powdered all that and it should be bare now. You can have the little lip there and stuff, it slipped down on it there, but you need to get all the metal off that. And then I'm gonna use grease on this here, grease up the inside, so just keep moisture and stuff out, keep it from rusting and friction welding itself. So I'll put a ton of grease in there, because once it's on, it shouldn't be moving or anything. Same thing with these holes here. I'm gonna put anti-seize on all these bolt holes because they're completely stripped, they're not coated anymore. So use some anti-seize to keep them from backing out. The ones inside of here, I use regular bolts just because it's inside the hub area. And titanium can come loose because there's a very smooth edge to the through the thread. So I'm going to use a standard bolt that I have like anodized or some of my new OEM bolts, and then use some anti-seize to keep it nice. All right, another thing we got to do here is put these back on. So I had these straps powder coated too. So you can see here, I had these powder coated because again, you can buy them new, but powder coat will last forever, realistically. I just got to clear out these threads. Well, it looks like actually he capped those off. I'll probably just chase the threads just to be safe and get a thread chaser, not a tap. There is a difference because it'll try to make a new thread in that style of thread. So use a thread chaser, not a tap. So yeah, again, I bought new titanium bolts to hold the tank on too. So yeah, I'm gonna use blue Loctite for those just to be safe because I don't want those backing out. There's covers, and then I've got OEM bolts for the top straps. But you can see here, I was like, which one goes where? But it's pretty easy to tell. This strap goes straight up. You can see the bend in that must have went there, and this one follows this here. So pretty easy. I cleaned these up the best I could. That was the only thing that sucked. I couldn't get these new, and you can see a little chewed up. Again, it's not gonna hurt anything. It just aesthetically doesn't look as nice. So, I guess it is what it is. One thing I did want to bring up, I wanted to show this part number. This part number here, not that right there, is the big bolts that do go in the back that hold the hub on, the hub shield for the e-brake assembly. Okay, I did buy 2 of those, but I ended up having those powder coated, so I ended up using those, but that is the part number in case you want to buy that new. I wanted to make sure that was shown in this video, just in case.